Hey everybody, welcome to Surface Level, creating a community where Black and queer folks are fearless in thought and curious at heart. I'm one of your hosts, Tony, and today, Jordan, Damon, and I are discussing friendship without sexual benefits. Do the best relationships start as a platonic friendship? What are your thoughts on introducing casual sex into existing friendships? This is Friends Without Benefits. All right, guys. So we're back for season 4. Our another turn around the sun for the podcast, and I'm really excited. How are you guys feeling?
No, I'm here.
You're good.
I'm here too.
I feel great. Energized.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's Thanksgiving. It's coming up, and we got a lot to be thankful and grateful for. So I'm grateful for you guys, and I'm grateful to be doing this again. But what's new for this season? Okay, so some things have changed, and some things remain the same. So if you caught our little intro at the beginning, this season we wanted to kind of reaffirm our commitment to building a community for Black and queer folks. So, you know, that's really the foundation of what we're trying to do here. So we just wanted to reaffirm that a little bit. And this season, not only are we coming to you audibly, but we're coming to you on your screens, because every episode this season is going to be video recorded. So yes, don't get nervous now. The girls are going to be watching your every move.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
So get ready for that, and be prepared for the side eyes and stuff like that, because we know that's going to be coming.
There's so
right, Damon?
I don't side eye.
Live in the side eye.
So, we're still going to be bringing you conversations, though, that are around the topics that need to be had, you know, and just things that we're curious about in general. And one thing that, you know, hasn't changed is we start with a little game. I like to call them ghetto games.
Ghetto games.
But before we do that, I just want to know, between the last time we recorded and now, has there been any major life moments that happened for you guys? Like for me, for instance, my mom turned 60 and I took her to Las Vegas, which was fantastic. We had a jolly old time.
Oh, did you?
Had a good time. No scandals. I was with mother. So, of course, you know, very.
Tell us anything.
Yeah. But how about you guys, Jordan?
First of all, was that the time that we went to Vegas together? Was that the last time you were there?
That was the last time. Yeah.
You
Okay.
had enough scandal then.
Yeah, I'm happy you turned it around and decided to have a nice wholesome weekend, because
Yeah. Have a prayer cloth out.
that weekend was a ghetto game. Let's see. I haven't had like crazy big life updates. I will say that my little cousin, she came up for the weekend, and it was the very first time in my life that I was responsible for a small child for an extended amount of time, and I really enjoyed it.
She's still alive.
She's still alive.
Keep it alive.
She was very low maintenance. All you had to do was give her an iPad.
Yes.
I just asked her when she was hungry. She told me when she was hungry, and we just hung out and did New York City things.
Okay.
We went to see the Statue of Liberty. It was
Love that.
beautiful. So
You
don't know.
Damon, any updates?
Let's see. I'm at a new job.
Mm.
Not at the last one, which
Congrats.
congratulations.
was something. And y'all, I'm hobbling in here on a broken ankle boot.
Oh, God.
So
See.
but I'm here.
Well, speaking of ghetto games, I think we should go ahead and jump into our game. So we're going to be talking about Friends Without Benefits today. And I want to play a little game of Never Have I Ever. But if you haven't done the thing, you just take a sip of your whatever's in your mug.
Okay.
So the first one, never have I ever caught feelings for someone I was in a platonic friendship with.
You take a sip if
You take a sip if it's something that you have
done.
done.
Okay, well, I guess I'll drink to that.
I don't like these niggas.
Okay. Next one. Never have I ever been turned down by someone I wanted to be more than just friends with.
Oh, yeah. Damon, you never been
Right.
rejected?
Girl,
I don't.
I don't know. It's never happened to me. It's a foreign concept.
have you never been rejected by someone that you wanted to have more than just a platonic friendship with?
I don't think so. But like y'all know I don't talk to, like, I'm not one to, like, talk, pursue, and do all that
Yeah.
with people.
I'm gonna keep it moving
I
on
don't,
this one.
I don't remember that happening.
I don't remember.
Never-
I don't recall that.
I don't.
Never have I ever stayed in a platonic friendship, even though I really wanted more. Nah, I'm not gonna drink on that one because I don't.
Yeah,
I
don't
can't stay
know.
or stick around for
No, I gotta go.
the. Yeah, I gotta go
The
too.
last time that happened, I stormed out.
Oh yeah,
See you in hell. No, I'm just kidding.
see you in hell.
Oh, gosh.
All right, never have I ever slept with or done anything sexual with someone I considered a platonic friend.
You drink if you
I'm
do.
Now you can drink. Now you can drink. Okay, baby girl, got
I can
you.
have some water now.
So we're all having a sip for this.
Okay, and then lastly, before we jump into the conversation, moving forward, never would I ever sleep with or do anything sexual with someone I consider strictly a friend.
Moving forward.
Moving forward.
So drink if you.
So drink if that is not, if that's untrue for you. Like moving forward, do you think that you it's a possibility that you might sleep with or do something sexual with someone you consider a friend?
Yes.
Well,
It's a possibility.
cheers,
I
cheers,
guess.
ladies.
It's like, Tony coming over my house later.
Yes.
But
Surface level after dark.
Okay, massage that ankle.
it's broken.
All right.
Ciao. Anyway, so we talked a lot about platonic friendships and places that queer people meet. So do you guys feel like there's a lack of environments where queer people can meet just friends? Jordan, you look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's well, no and yes. No, because you can meet a queer person anywhere, right? I mean, you can meet them at the grocery store. I mean, walking down the street, wherever.
Yes.
When I think about places that cater to our community, I feel like the vast majority of those environments are parties. And in my personal experience, I find it more difficult to find friends in a dark, loud venue at 2 a.m. And yeah, I just wish that there were more places that queer people could just sort of be together, but not like through the party scene or not through that. Like if there was like a gay coffee shop, I would actually really, really enjoy that.
A concept.
It is a concept, but like that's where I think that, you know, places that are probably more conducive to like talking to someone. You're not screaming over music.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you feel like you can actually make a connection with someone and talk to them, as opposed to when it's like a party, you just see somebody across the room and you're just like, okay, they're cute. I'm going to go and scream in their ear for the next 30 minutes.
Ciao.
Tony, what about you?
I mean, yeah, I think that it's really hard to go somewhere and find a place where there are like-minded individuals that's not a club scene or a lounge or something like that. And I know that folks think that all we want to do is find cute boys and, you know, do the song and the dance. However, queer culture is not a monolith. Like we don't, they paint us, they give us a scarlet, what's a scarlet letter? Yeah. Like we're all just sluts from the 90s and we're not. Some of us do like to meet friends,
Right.
but it's really hard. And there are spaces that are, I think, on the like emerging, and I think that we're on the brink of a renaissance. However, I know that there's a lot of spaces for the heterosexual folks, and we could use a lot more. Like there's a few, but we need a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, I've said this, I think, before on the podcast. I think when you see people in certain spaces, we often assume that you can only talk to them about one thing. Like I think we were having the conversation around like Grindr, and
Yes.
we're like, oh, is it weird when people are like, I'm looking for friends on Grindr? It's just like, well, everybody here has had a Grindr, a corporate job, been to a club, been to a bar, been to a social, been to a coffee shop.
Who?
Everybody here.
Don't speak.
And
Don't
you get,
speak
you
for
get
me.
the line if you want
Don't
to.
speak on my behalf.
Get to line.
Tell people what I got and what I don't get.
But my point is that I think sometimes we view people in all those settings as different human beings and different motivations. Where like people are complex. You can meet a friend, I think, anywhere as long as you're open to it. Like I don't think
Right.
that like you need to just wait for the perfect coffee shop with the smooth jazz playing
Yeah.
to feel like you can be inclusive, or you can treat somebody like more than just a piece of meat.
Yeah.
Like you can strike up a good conversation with a smart person on Grindr. If I feel like most of the time if I'm chatting with somebody on Grindr and you can tell they're competent. And you're like, okay, well, let's just chat and see what happens. Like, and I have a friends that I've had for a long time that I've met on Grindr. So I
Yeah.
think it's about how you use settings, how you use apps, or how you use whatever the thing is, more so than the actual thing.
Well,
Right. Well, Damon, you said something that I actually was thinking about. Like, like the fact that we're capable of, it's your mindset, right?
Right.
We're capable of going into any space and have the experience that we want to have. So some of the onus
Right.
has to be on us going into these spaces and not just necessarily being like, oh, I need that curated moment where it feels like it's not the club scene. So I can agree with that.
So I mean, when you're talking about that, I was just thinking about just sort of like the apprehension that I think queer people have when they are trying to approach someone in a non-queer setting, and they're unaware if that person is queer, and you don't want to make an assumption.
That's part of it.
Like, I feel like that's also a thing too, not just with platonic, but also with like dating, right? Like if you're like on a train platform, you may think that somebody has like really cool style or something like that, but you want to connect with them even more because you feel like they also are a part of the community.
Yes.
But you feel like you can't,
You can't assume, right?
right? You feel like you can't assume. And I mean, I don't know if that's like a deterrent, but I'm just thinking about like how our spaces are so sacred because I think it's the one space where you feel comfortable and confident that everyone there is part of the community.
Yeah.
Whereas when you leave those spaces, it's sort of like a question mark.
Right.
Does it matter if someone is or isn't in the community if you're looking for a platonic friend?
I mean,
Like if
it
you're
doesn't.
sparking up what's it's seeming to you like a conversation about style or something, does it matter if the person is or isn't queer? Like what impact does that
doesn't.
onus does that have on it?
No, I guess I was just thinking in the mindset of like finding platonic queer male friends. That's the mindset I was thinking about. But yeah, like I think we're capable of finding a platonic friend in any environment. But the precipice is like you look at someone and is giving like first there's an attraction, and you don't want to assume. But yeah, that's it's murky.
I mean, so as we get older and as we get busier, I think that I can speak for the three of us and say that it's a little bit more difficult making friends. You know, like we don't have those established places like schools and things like that where you find people that you can just like click with and spend a lot of time with.
Right.
So when it comes to dating, you know, a lot of articles out there will encourage you to marry your best friend. I'm sure that we've all heard about this. How do we all feel about relationships that start off as platonic and then become romantic? Do we feel like that's the recipe for the best relationships? Damon, you have a smirk, so maybe you go first.
I don't think it matters. I think I think a relationship can start with anything from purely platonic to like, I don't know, wild hookup in a strange place.
Ooh.
And I say that because
How strange.
Bathhouse.
How
strange.
strange. like bathhouse in Europe strange. But I think the point is in building the relationships, how honest do you want to be with the person? How
Yes.
much do you want to share about yourself? How much do you want to connect? And I think that comes from time getting to know the person, like genuinely having open conversations. A lot of kind of what we do here, which is the impetus to how long we've been friends and how well we know each other, and would be the same impetus for getting to know someone even deeper in an intimate relationship. So like, I don't think removing sex up front and like being this friendly person like is the recipe for success.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's less of a distraction if you're the type of person where it's just like if somebody's if someone's doing certain things to you, you can't think about shit else.
Oh.
But
Yeah, I mean, I know
Some
plenty of
people- some
folks like
people
that just lose all
lose their
their
mi-
faculties.
Their
Yeah,
faculties.
but hold on, let me put my glasses on for this
Oh
Here
Jesus!
you go.
because
Just leave them there. Just leave them there. Right,
on the tip. No, I found an interesting article in Race Bader, which
Oh yeah.
yeah, you know, our friend is the editor in chief. So it talked about the perils of navigating platonic relationships with other gay men. And it says, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the truth is, as gay men, the pool in which we have to search for love is small. So why wouldn't we look in our own inner circle and friendships for that romantic reciprocation? And so I do think that, you know, I think looking into your own circle, like that might be the way to go. I think that a lot of good, healthy relationships do start as friends. The healthy ones do, in my opinion. I like that's the route that I want to go. And I think that you got to take time to really get to know someone. So starting as friends and being platonic is the best route, in my opinion, because you get to ask those important questions. Like, are you asking the right questions? Are you able to, when you finally say, like, I'm dating this person and now we're an item, like, do you know that person's mother's name? I always bring that up as an example. Do you know that person's father's name? Like, those things are important, but also, do you know each other?
Right.
What do you want sexually? That's the thing you got to get out the way before you get further into, you look up and 6 months later and it's giving, girl, all right now, then we having a ponderosa. So I like to think that, you know, ideally I am dating my friend and then, or just have a friendship with someone and then we romantically grow to that next level.
Yeah. I agree with you, Tony, that the best romantic relationships for me start off as platonic friendships, but not for the same.
Was that shade, Damon, or are you actually
We're letting her have her moment.
That was not shade. Let me get my water.
Yes. Have a sip.
as you were saying?
What were you saying? I don't even know what she was saying. I was dying.
It's all right. I can repeat. So I agree with Tony that for me, romantic relationships, I feel like I like them better when they start off platonic, but for a different reason. And it's because I'm actually weird as hell when it comes to dating. And I feel like as soon as I feel like something is a date or that I'm dating someone, I go into this weird, like, I need to be Prince Charming sort of like mentality.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it's actually.
And I'll be like, why are you being weird to me?
What? You said you wanted to get married. But yeah, so like I realize that I put a lot of pressure on myself to just sort of like present, I guess, like the boyfriend that person will want, right?
Yes. Okay.
And I feel like, and it's obviously it's not a good recipe for me. Like, obviously it's not like a good thing that I should be doing, but that is how I respond to like being in a dating situation. I do sort of pivot the way that I interact with the person. And I feel that when I start off things platonically, I'm less concerned about looking unattractive to the other person. So I think I allow myself to be more silly. I allow myself to be more jovial, which is like more authentically who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I can actually really let my guard down and get to know that person.
Right.
And then I feel like, okay, wait, like now you actually really know me.
Yep.
So like the real me, like the weird me, the strange me. So let's see if, you know, we can do the song and dance now.
Well, listen, we love a good song and dance.
And sometimes the song and dance be real sad. And it's just like, well, let's be friends.
See, that's why y'all need to sing and dance up front. All right. Talking about that,
front.
speaking on that, so what are you all's thoughts on introducing casual sex into an existing friendship? Tony?
I think it's a very slippery slope.
Yes.
Both literally
It should literally be.
and figuratively. I think it's very slippery to introduce casual sex with an existing friend. Is it convenient? Yes. But in the long run, I think it's a recipe for disaster because it's giving like first one to catch feelings loses.
Is that what it's giving?
That's what it's giving
Oh.
because if there's truly no desire to have that friendship become more of a romantic relationship, then if you catch feelings, then what? It's like, what now?
Well, according to you, you can't be around it anymore. And what? Now the friendship is disintegrated?
Well, possibly,
Right.
possibly because it makes it really complicated, and then it becomes hard to like when that person has moved on romantically with someone else, and now you supposed to be playing second fiddle to some other hoe.
So you a sneaky link now.
No, I'm just saying you're not sneaky because you were having extramarital affairs.
It was
With-
who was married?
Wait a minute.
I'm
Hold
kidding.
on.
Said
We
casual
jumped
sex.
around.
You were having
Existing
casual
friendship.
sex
Tony
with
said
Close
a
your
person.
legs to married men.
And as you're having that casual sex, like if they go on to move on romantically with someone else and you've caught feelings,
Yeah.
it's giving Heartbreak Hotel. And so who wants to go through that? I don't. I certainly don't.
Hmm.
Yeah, casual sex with a friend is a slippery slope. How do you it's the undoing for me. How do you get out of that? How do you like
Right.
reverse all that motion in the ocean? And you can't.
You can.
Sometimes it's not that easy. Easier said than done.
Yeah. Once again, my answer again is that I'm a strange person. So I feel like it's two things, right? If it's somebody who I was friendly with and we introduce casual sex, I may not be that strange. But if it's like a friend that, I have a lot of history with that I consider a close friend, I feel like I can get like very strange. And yeah, then I think it becomes a thing where it's just like, you don't know how to act around that person. You're just like you're overthinking like, was that the right thing? Should I have done that? Are you going to do it again? Do you not want to do it again? Could you potentially lose the friendship? And yeah, I mean it sucks because yes, this community, especially if you are, if you're prioritizing a partner who is also Black and queer, the pool is so small, right? And
Tiny.
we don't all know each other. It's not that small, but
It's how it feels.
it feels like that sometimes, right?
That is how it feels.
And it feels like it's one big melting pot of people all having sex with one another. And it just becomes a lot more complicated when you add that into like your friend group as opposed to like a peripheral friend group or somebody who you kind of know over there. So I mean, I would shy away from it unless both people absolutely know that they actually want to move forward with something serious.
Yeah.
I think that it should be some sort of communication, or if it's not serious, or if it's just like, hey, like this is going to happen tonight, tomorrow morning.
Well,
I was never here.
I mean, that's why I think it's really hard to have those platonic friendships without it crossing a boundary because there's a level of affection and a level of intimacy that comes with being a platonic friend, and you start to. It's like when you are working with someone at the office, and next thing you know, or if you're an actor on set with someone doing a movie, next thing you know, you catch feelings for someone, and then it's like it could be all bad or it could be all good from there. It's complicated.
I think y'all full of shit.
Oh, bitch, please.
Bro, what you gotta say?
I'm fine with it. Who cares? We grown. Like, this is the thing. Do I have platonic friends that I've known for a very long time that at some point we had casual sex? Yes. Did it destroy our relationship? No. Did I fall head over heels because we had some type of sexual encounter? Absolutely not. And I think if I'm falling head over heels for someone, it's not just because we did the song and dance a couple times.
Yeah, I don't think that's
and like,
why.
And like that to me is like, I don't know. No.
Like the emotions.
I mean, sex complicates things, right? Because like you're already platonic friends with that person for a reason.
Right.
You love their heart, right?
Yeah.
And then you
What?
add in, other parts of the body, and it's just like, oh, I love that too.
Right.
So now it's like I'm really fucked up in
human
the
nature.
head. Yeah. So it's like, what's a girl supposed to do?
Right. I mean, listen, I don't know.
Get your shit together.
I
That's what
have-
you're supposed to do.
No clue.
I don't know. I think that when you think about the depth in which you want to be intimate with a partner, I think there's a clear delineation between that and your friends. Just because, like, with friends, there's this thing where, like, you have issues where it's just like, oh, well, that's Damon. Like, you don't have to be around that person all the time. You kind of accept some of their bullshit and, like, you take the good with the bad. I think when you're getting into something with a partner, it's about the push and pull and development of you all as individuals and doing something collective. And I think that there's less of that, oh, that's just Tony. It's really about delving into even those things. And I think that you can see beyond just sex, like clear delineation of intimacy, of connection that you have with people that are friends or even close friends than with a person that like is my partner and I want to like live in a home with them or some shit like that. And like, I don't think sex can be some part of it, but like, it's not purely the deciding factor between.
I don't think it's
those
purely,
things, for
but
me.
the lines get blurred when sex becomes a part of it, because then you're like, well, what are we doing? Because we're intimate, we're affectionate, and now
Now you notice when the text is slow.
Now we're enjoying each other, and so the lines can get blurred,
And then
and then
when the shit hit the fan, and now it's Team Jordan and Team Friend. Now the friend group is in shambles. They can't invite everybody everywhere
oh
anymore.
my God,
No, y'all sit there and be awkward. Everybody else getting invited.
Ain't nobody being awkward in their free time at this big age.
no.
Everybody's trying to be comfortable all of the time.
The two of you stay home. The friend group ain't suffering.
Child.
Shit.
That's not how it works.
No thanks.
That's not how it works.
I can't do it.
Well, that's all the time that we have this week. This season of Surface Level is produced in partnership with Moby, Mobilizing Our Brothers Initiative. Let's just take a second to acknowledge the fact that
Shout out to Moby.
we are producing season 4 in partnership with Moby, proud sponsors of Surface Level Podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, let's keep the conversation going. Let us know your thoughts and questions at surfacelevelpodcast.com. And remember, stay curious.